Are you still copying and pasting blocks, dimension styles, and other AutoCAD objects from one drawing to your current drawing? No, please stop. Here's what you want to do. Use your custom lazy library command and done. All of your blocks and AutoCAD um, objects such as dimension styles and multi-letter styles were inserted automatically into your drawing. How do we do this? Well, this is what today's live stream is going to be about. But before, let me jump to the chat and say hi to you. Um, for people who don't know me, my name is Irving, and this is the Lazy Arquitecto show or live stream. We show up here every Sunday at 10 a.m. Okay. Um, can you hear me now? I'm trying to troubleshoot my sound. Uh, so let me know if you can. I think you can hear me now, right? Just let me know in the chat, please. Um, okay. All right. Nice. Okay. So let me start all over again. So let's start again then. All right. One second. Let me erase this and let me start again. Oops. Okay. Right. Let's start again. All right. So what is okay. So are you still copying and pasting blocks, dimension styles, and other AutoCAD objects from one drawing into your current drawing? No, please stop. Here's what you want to do. Use your custom lazy library command and done. All of your blocks and AutoCAD objects such as dimension styles, multi-layer styles were inserted automatically into your drawing. How do we do this? Well, this is what today's live show is going to be about. But before we start today, let me jump to the chat and say hi to you and thank you for being here. And for people who don't know me, right, my name is Irving. Um, so I show up here in YouTube with a new live stream every Sunday at 10 a.m. So, with a new way to save time in AutoCAD, right? It can be by creating a new command. Like from today, we're gonna create this awesome command, lazy library. Creating dynamic blogs, sharing tips and tricks, basically anything that we can share here live to save you some time using AutoCAD, right? So, if your time is important, then consider subscribing to the channel. um, so before again we start our live streams, I always like to say hi to you. Go to the chat, read some of your comments, maybe ask you where are you connecting from, right? For instance, I'm connecting from Pennsylvania, the United States. However, for people who already know me, I'm originally from Peru in South America. So yeah, let me know in the chat. How are you today and where are you connecting from? Okay, let me start by reading some of your comments. Dominic is on the chat. Thank you, Dominic, because you helped me uh, letting me know that there was no sound, right? So thank you for that. Kumar is also on the chat. Kumar says, "Good morning, sir. Hope you're doing well." Yes, I'm doing well. Kumar, hope you're doing great too. We're gonna start today's live show very soon. Uh, so then we have Dominic also telling me about the sound that was working. Thank you again, Dominic, for being here. Um, Kumar says yes. We have also Rahit on the chat. It says just sound is on. Thank you, Rohit. I think you're new to the channel. Um, but yeah, so that means YouTube or either Facebook is recommending our show to more and more people. That's awesome because I see new people each week joining us. That's great. Kumar says all good. Um, Rahit says India. Oh, nice. I'm glad that more folks from India are joining us or discovering our live shows. So that's awesome. Thank you for letting me know where are you connecting from. So we have 5 people or 6 people connected on the chat live. That's awesome that you are here with me today. We're gonna start very soon and we're gonna create this awesome tool or macro command in AutoCAD that is gonna help us save so much time. All right. So with 7 people connected, I think we're gonna start. We have one more comment on the chat. Is my friend um Douglas. Hi, says good morning, Luis Irving. Oh, I'm glad you are spelling my 2 names correctly. Yes, that's Luis Irving. Those are my first and second name. Thank you for being here today. Um, so we have Dominic also on the chat says South Africa. Oh wow, that's awesome. So far away that you are here live with me, with us. So that's awesome from South Africa. Uh, all right, with 10 people connected on the chat, I think we're gonna start. Um, so, and of course, what I wanna say is you can interrupt me at any time during my tutorial or live presentation. So that way we can have a more interactive um, live stream, right? So just ask me questions or anything that comes to your mind, and I'll be able to read it live. Okay, so I think we're ready to start. Okay, in order to do so, I'm gonna hide myself from the screen so you can uh, have a better and more cleaner experience, right? So let's start. Okay, so as you can see, I have the command lazy library over here, but I'm gonna erase it so I can show you how we can create it from scratch, right? So I'm gonna delete it by right clicking and delete this, and I'm gonna say yes. So first of all, in order to create our command, we're gonna use the tool palette. The tool palette, we can open it by simply using the keyboard control 3. Um, so that's the tool palette over here. We could also create this command using the command macros. However, I'm not gonna use it today because this is a 2023 feature that probably not many people have it still. So that's why I'm gonna utilize the tool palette. All right. So the first step that we're gonna need is to um, create a simple polyline, like a rectangle, for instance. I'm gonna create a rectangle really quick, like so. And this is so I can click or left click and drag it to the tool palette, right? Like so. So I'm gonna release it, and you can see that we have simply a polyline that was added to our tool palette. So from here, what I can do is right click on this polyline and simply select the properties. So the properties, as you can see, um, we have this tool properties dialog box that I'm gonna resize so you can see better, like so. And of course, we're gonna name our um, new command or new lazy command, right? So I call this the lazy library, but you can rename it as you wish, right? For a description, I have a description here on my second screen that I'm gonna simply copy and paste. So so I'm gonna paste it like so. And basically, this is for a command that will insert your block library, dimension styles, multi-lines, multi-letter styles, and basically anything that you include in your store drawing, right? So, talking about the store drawing, that's actually the first part that we're gonna need to create, right? Before we jump to our macro code. So then I'm gonna simply click OK for now because we are missing that important step, which is to create a and store a drawing with our um, AutoCAD objects. So I'm gonna click OK for now. As you can see, we have the lazy library over there. Um, so let's jump to our first step. Our first step is simply gonna be to create a new drawing, right? So over here on my top right corner on the AutoCAD logo, I'm gonna simply click that and create a new drawing. So I'm gonna pick the Imperial Architecture template because I'm in the United States and Imperial are my units, but you can pick Mechanic over here if that's your unit. So I'm gonna open this up. I don't need any of these information, so I'm gonna simply delete it and go to model. So over here, what I need to is to paste or create my AutoCAD objects such as multi-lines, multi-letters, text styles, dimension styles, blocks, and so on. So I already have that, so that's why I'm gonna open that up. As you can see over here, I called my library drawing, and it's simply a drawing where if I open it, you can see I have my dimension style. I have my multi-letter style, that's the dim style, and then this is my multi-letter style, and so on. I have multi-line also, or M line. So basically, this would be my library, right, with the AutoCAD objects that I need to have on any of my current drawings that I'm working on. All right. So very straightforward. Simply create a drawing and paste in your information that you wanna insert with your lazy library command. So I'm gonna close this. Um, and of course I'm gonna close this drawing one because that's the first step, and you already know how to do the step number one. So once we have that, um, let's go back to creating our lazy library macro code over here on the tool palettes. All right, so I'm gonna again right click on it and say properties, right? So we already added the name, a description, and in order, we could also insert an image over here by simply right click on it and say specify image. However, you can pick the image that you desire. So the next steps are, so right now we cannot add a command string or macro over here because it's locked. The way we unlock it is by changing the use flyout from yes to no, and now we are able to modify our command macro string, right? So we have a comment on the chat. So before we start adding some macro code on this line, let me jump to the chat. So Dominic is saying, I see your annotation scale was 1 to 1. Is it important for it to be 1 to 1? That's a great question, Dominic. And let me refer back to what Dominic was saying so people can have a better context. So let me, for now, simply click OK to, we'll go back to this in a moment. So basically, Dominic was saying, I think, on the library. So let me go and open my library again. So that's my library. And Dominic is referring to the annotation over here that I have it to 1 to 1, right? So this depends, Dominic. The answer would be if we are using or storing annotative um, objects on your library. So it would be nice to select the correct scale at which your annotative objects are, so that way you can see them on the correct scale. However, in my case, from because the office where I work, the practices are to not use annotative objects. Annotative objects are basically smart objects that will resize and scale automatically based on your drawing scale for people who don't know. So as you can see, I just have regular dimensions, regular multi-liters. They are not annotative. So that's why having it to one makes sense. However, again, if you're using annotative objects, you will be able to select the correct scale so your annotative dimensions and text can also be seen on your screen. So that's basically the answer, Dominic, but that's a great question. And let's keep moving. So let me close this up and say no. All right, so let's continue. So thank you for your question, Dominic, and for making this live stream more interactive, right? Because that's why I do or present these AutoCAD lessons live, because I love that interaction. Uh, so let's keep moving. I'm gonna right click and pick properties. So, all right, so we were over here on the command string where we're gonna change and modify some of these strings in order to make our lazy library command to work. So over here, I'm gonna copy this from my second screen, the code that I already have. And basically, if you want to simplify your life, you can copy these macro codes from our member member post. You can simply copy and paste those if you wanna simplify your life, either on our member post here on YouTube or on our Patreon page. But I just simply copy and paste again the code that I shared with people who support our work, and I'm gonna go over and explain it right a bit so you can understand how to tweak it for your needs. So first of all, here as you can see on the description, we have uh, one piece that says modify command string in capital with your information. So that's the command string over here, and whatever it says it's in capital, we need to replace it, all right? But first, let me explain what are we doing here. So first, we are purging or using the purge command to purge our library, right? Why are we doing this step? Well, because most of the time we want to edit or modify our library. By this, I mean you want to introduce or insert or add a new item to your drawing or to your library, right? For instance, you wanted to add a new dimension style that you just created. So you go and open your library drawing, you paste it, and we need to have a way to purge the already library that it exists in your drawing. So that's why first we need to purge our library in order to always have the latest library. So that's the first step, what it does. And then we are inserting our library drawing with our multi lines, multi leaders, textiles, and so on and so on. So the way we are doing it is simply inserting it with the insert command, and then we're gonna have to replace our path over here. And then finally, the third piece of code is to alert you or give you a notice that hey, your library was just added, right? So that's a nice way um, uh, to know that our command worked well. And we're gonna show you how to finalize or replace the information in a moment before we read our next comment on the chat that is from MM. If you can give us your real name, MM, that would be awesome. So I can talk to you better. But it says, excuse me for being late. I have a cold flu, was sleeping. That's okay. I hope you get better. And yeah, so thank you for being here, MM. So let's keep moving to wrap up this awesome lazy library command. Um, so Again, the last step is simply to modify our string in capital with our information, all right? So let's do that. For that, we're gonna need our Windows Explorer folder, right? Where we are saving our library. So let me uh, put it over here like so. So what we need first is over here where it says purge our library. Right now in capital is my library. So let's check if that's the correct information. So yes, our drawing is my library also, so that match I don't need to modify this. But of course, if this were I don't know, lazy library or something like that, I will be able to change also my library name, right? But I'm gonna cancel that because that's correct. And then we need the path, my library path. So that is over here. If we click on it, we can simply copy this So I'm gonna right click and copy my path for my library. And I'm gonna go here and simply replace this information where it says my library path right there, like so. I'm gonna simply paste, right? Paste like so. And then notice that we have this slash that we're using here, but over here we have the slash that goes to the other one. So let's fix that really quick with replacing those slashes so our command can work. So I'm gonna simply replace those really quick. So don't forget that step because that's very important. If not, your lazy library command is not gonna work. So make sure you replace those. All right. Okay, so we did that, and the final step is to replace um, this my library DWG name. So let's make sure that we have that correct also. So it says my library DWG. Okay, so it match with my library DWG. Awesome. So that's all for this command. Let's quickly test it, right? So to see if it works. So let's click OK for now. And that's the lazy library command. So in order to test it, what I can do is let me first open my multi-leader styles to see how many styles I have. No, not that one. So let me open the multi-leader style again. So you can see that I have two over here. So I'm gonna erase this, right? So I cannot erase it because that's current. I'm gonna set this current. And then let's see if I can erase this. I cannot erase it either. So what I can do is undo, right? Because so let me undo with Control Z. So let me undo till I don't see the block. All right. So let's try it again. Multi-leader style. So let's open that. Oops, no, not that one. Multi-leader style. So that one. All right, so let's see now that we only have one multi-leader, and that's the one that comes with AutoCAD. So we're good so far. Um, so also for dimension styles, so if we do dimsty, we can see that we have only these dimension styles, again, only 1 and 2, as you can see. And of course the same with our blocks and whatever we store in our library drawing. So let's test it, right? So let's click on it, the lazy library. It says library added to this drawing, so I can simply press enter to accept it. And let's see what happened when I do when I check my AutoCAD objects such as multi-leader styles. You can see my multi-leader style was inserted. If we check our dimension styles with the dimsty command, you can see that my dim style was also inserted. Uh, and as you can see, all whatever you store in your library will be automatically bring into any current drawing that you're working on. So, what do you think about the lazy library command? Will this command save you time? Yes, no? Let me know on the chat so I'll be able to read it before we wrap up today's live show, right? So, yeah, let me know on the chat. Um, so I wanna hear from you. So maybe give me if you have some suggestions or recommendations for our next live streams, or just simply give me your opinion about today's tools. Right? Would that help you? Um, be more productive in AutoCAD so you avoid copying and pasting objects. Um, so yeah, let me know on the chat while I'll do an important announcement, which is while you do that, while you let me know in the chat, I wanna say thank you to these folks that support my work either here on YouTube as a YouTube member or on Patreon. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you to you guys. I'm here doing these live streams every Sunday. So, yeah, thanks again. All right. So, now before we wrap up today's live stream, Uh, let's see what people have to say on the chat about the lazy library command. So yeah, let's see. Oh, again, for people who don't know, um, you can simply copy and paste any of our macro commands, right? By being a YouTube member or a Patreon. So that way you can simplify your life and not just type each character, right? So that's a way for me to say thank you to these folks, by sharing these macro codes as well as drawings, blogs, anything that we create on the channel. So if you are curious about what are those benefits, you can check them out either here on YouTube as a YouTube member or on Patreon. Um, let's see. We have Dominic on the chat. Dominic says, we normally use the import command, but it's definitely useful to use this tool, especially to purge before importing. Yes, Dominic. So that's a great comment because there is options in AutoCAD to import um, AutoCAD objects, right? However, the issue with these import commands or tools is that you have to do it one at a time. By this, I mean, if you want to import your dimensions, okay, you can use import dimension command, but then you also want to import your multi leader styles, your multi line styles. And from what I know, there are no import multi line command in AutoCAD. So this way, it's a more efficient way to import anything that you need um, into your current drawings, right? And also, as you are mentioning, um, this tool also purge before importing, which none of the other tools will do it. So that's a big issue also because um, whenever you are in the profession, you are always editing or updating your AutoCAD object styles, such as your dimensions, text, and so on. So yeah, but that's a good point of view, Dominic, and thank you for sharing. We have 11 people on the chat still. That's awesome that you are still here with me today, where we just created the lazy library command. So, so yeah, thank you, Dominic, and let's see if we have more comments before we wrap up today's live stream, right? And I have to start thinking on our next live show, right? On our next uh, topic because oh, by the way, if you don't know, you can pick what our or vote about what our next live show is going to be about from our community post, right? That I do. You can decide what topic we can do for next week. All right, guys. I think if we don't have any more questions or suggestions from today's live show, I'm gonna wrap up today by saying, hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you here next Sunday at 10 a.m. I'll see you there.